you know that I hit record?
No.
Oh, okay. Now you do.
I was reading a text message and...
Did I get one too? Oh, I got one too.
It's the same one.
I know.
It's not a dire thing.
No. Just the masked singer. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the little bars aren't big enough, but it sounded fine when we did our test, so...
Yeah.
I guess it's fine.
I think you can turn it up if you need to.
Probably could. Well, I might could. That might be better. Alright.
Sorry if we're suddenly very loud.
Yeah, right.
I meant you could fix the volume in editing.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. I've never tried that before. I guess I could have. Yeah, I guess I do know how to do that. Oh, well.
So, now that we're screaming at you.
It's alright. I can fix that in editing.
Oh, true.
Alright. Well, welcome back.
Hi. Howdy, howdy, howdy. We're joined today by 3 kittens and a fish.
Yes.
One very wild kitten that won't stop biting everyone's tails.
She's having a great time.
Nobody wants their tail bit, though.
Well, you know what? Veronica knows.
Her name is Kiki.
We already had this debate.
Yeah.
And I won.
I won because I'm her mother.
And I won because her name is Veronica. And if you just look at her, you can tell that her name is Veronica.
Maybe we'll post a picture and you can tell us.
Yeah.
Whether or not she's a Veronica or a Kiki.
And I have a very needy orange kitten on me.
Yes. His name is Frank. No one debates that.
No, he is absolutely a Frank.
Yes.
Alright, well, what's new?
My car needs a new transmission.
Sure does.
Luckily, it's still under warranty. Or else I'd be barfing and crying.
I think we'd all be barfing and crying. Stop it, silly goose.
But, so it's like, it's mostly just annoying at this point because I know it's going to get fixed.
It's just...
And I'm not going to have to pay $10,000 to get it fixed.
Right.
But,
Hello, Frank.
I'm without a car, and I've been without a car for, like...
A week. Yeah, and
so,
probably at least another week.
Yeah.
But...
So it's inconvenient, annoying, but it's gonna get fixed, so...
Yep.
We'll live. We had to do this for 3 weeks whenever my car broke the last time, and...
Yeah.
They...
And the car place forgot that your car was there?
Yeah, they just didn't do anything to it. They just left it in the parking lot.
Yeah.
For 3 weeks, gathering dust.
That was fun.
Yeah.
Alright. Well.
That's all you gotta say? You have nothing to say?
Still feel like I need to sneeze, but it won't come out, so I guess I'm just gonna be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Until I sneeze. But whatever. Well, I know that you and I have discussed how weird it was that the Morgan Geyser from the Slender Man stabbing escaped right after we did that episode.
Yeah, that was a weird coincidence. It was like right after we did the Slender Man episode, then Morgan cut off her
like ankle monitor thing, yeah.
Escaped temporarily.
Escaped from her group home. Did you watch the body cam footage from when she was arrested?
No, I saw it pop up on YouTube the other day, but I didn't click on it.
So, I did watch it. So, I guess that she and another person were sleeping on the ground, like outside of a gas station or something, outside of Chicago. And...
Sounds like a much better time than being in a group home.
Right. I don't know if the business owner called the police or if the police just called the police or what, but, the police come to tell them they need to leave, and then they ask Morgan for her name, and she gives them a fake name to begin with.
Yeah.
And then she eventually gives them her real name, and is like, if you Google me, you'll find out what I did.
Yeah.
And
Kind of infamous.
The whole time, she's saying, like, she didn't do anything, she doesn't even have anything to do with this, or whatever. I'm assuming she's talking about the person that she's with.
Yeah.
And I just want to be clear that if I'm misgendering this person, I'm not attempting to. I'm just not 100% on the situation.
Yeah.
Because Morgan does say she's transgender in the body cam footage. Mm. The person legally is a 43-year-old named Chad Mecca. And if this person is a transgender woman, I don't know if she goes by Chad or if Chad is her dead name. And I apologize if, that's the case. I just don't know. And Chad is the name that appears in all the news articles.
Yeah.
So apparently Morgan and Chad met at church. And Morgan was upset that Chad wasn't allowed to visit her in the group home. So she'd been sneaking her in through the window.
Yeah.
And then the Chad person felt that Morgan was being mistreated in the home, so they decided to run away to Nashville. And I guess they got as far as Chicago before they ran out of money.
Yeah.
But she cut off her monitoring bracelet, and they took her Greyhound bus to Chicago. And then Peyton Leitner, who was the girl who had been stabbed,
yes,
wasn't even notified of her escape for like 14 hours. Mm-hmm. And the article that I read said that the Department of Corrections was alerted that Morgan's monitor was malfunctioning late Saturday evening, but didn't contact the group home for over 2 hours. And then local police were not notified until like 12 hours later.
Yeah.
So, and then I had also read that Wisconsin state law doesn't even require notifying victims of escape, which I'm like, that doesn't seem safe. What if, the bad guy's going to, like, finish the job or something?
Right.
So, now lawmakers are calling for changes to the process to require prompt communication for public safety purposes. And now the state has to determine whether or not to revoke Morgan's conditional release to the group home, since she clearly didn't stay put the first time. I also thought it was really unsafe of her to be, and, like, I don't know, not good for the other people in the group home, that she's just, like, sneaking random strangers into the window.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's a place where they're supposed to be, like, safe and recovering and trying to reintegrate into society, so I don't know. It was just crazy that happened, like, right after we talked about it. All right, well, today's story is a pretty bad one.
Okay.
So sorry in advance. This is another one of those stories that has stayed with me since I heard it a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
And it's, like, one that I think about often. And this is the story about the murder of Molly McLaren. And just a quick trigger warning, the story does contain domestic violence and stalking and mentions of mental health issues such as anxiety, bipolar depression, and eating disorders. So this case was highlighted on 2 UK shows, the Social Media Murders and Murdered by My Stalker. But also, if you're on YouTube, like, it also has titles that are Murder in Slow Motion and Murdered by My Ex, but they all seem to be the same show. So I'm not really sure what's going on there, but I don't know. It's not good either way.
No.
So Molly McLaren was born May 26, 1994 to Joanne and Doug McLaren in Cobham in the UK. She had a brother named Tom, who I think was older than she was. Her parents described Molly as being the sunshine of their lives and that she was intelligent and beautiful inside and out. Her friends that were interviewed also described her as being kind and funny and smart and just a lively, upbeat person. They said she was the person you always wanted around when you're having a bad day because she was always a laugh and the life of the party.
So essentially she lit up a room.
She did. She lit up a room. She was the sunshine of the room. Yeah. I know.
We know what happens when you light up a room.
We sure do. Nothing good. So, in her youth, Molly suffered from bulimia and anxiety. In 2015, the family was living in Kent, a county in the southeastern part of the UK. Aaron's dying again. Hold on. Are you good? You need to go get a snack. It made low blood sugar sound.
I know, it was an alert before low.
In case you were unaware of what your own alerts were.
Yes.
Let me just tell you.
I'm just going to turn the alerts off for right now.
Okay, don't die.
It's supposedly 81 and crashing.
No. Great.
So, I'm going to go look really quick, but...
Okay.
And we're back.
Let's try this again. Okay. So, it's the year 2015. And Molly and her family were living in Kent, a county in the southeastern part of the UK. Molly was 21, recovering from her battle with her eating disorder and ready to start the next chapter of her life. So she enrolled at the University of Kent, majoring in exercise, sport, and health education, and she had started a health and fitness blog. And on her blog, she posted exercise videos and motivational quotes. And at school, she threw herself into the experience wholeheartedly. She joined clubs, she was a straight-A student, and she made a group of really good friends. In 2016, after Molly had kind of gotten settled into her school routine, she felt like she was ready to date. But she wasn't really in the market to date for fun. She wanted to find a person who would potentially be her person.
Right.
And so she joined Tinder. And Molly was, I don't know if the best way to say it, she was like conventionally beautiful. And that almost sounds like an insult, but I don't mean it that way. And the only reason I even say it is because, like, in an interview with her cousin, she points out that Molly didn't need to go on Tinder because she could have walked into a bar or a library and found a date. Just based on her looks alone.
Yeah.
But Tinder was newish. It had been released in 2012, and online dating apps were really just becoming the norm. And, I mean, you'll have to correct me if I'm wrong because I've never used a dating app before, but I would guess that at least maybe you would get like a blurb of who this person is or who they want you to think they are.
Right. Well, you just kind of... I mean, everybody's are different, and some people don't really put anything at all. They'll be like, message me if you want to know about me.
So it's really just looks alone that you're going off of with this. Okay. Yeah, because I don't know anything about it.
Yeah.
But I was just thinking maybe it was just like a quicker way to gauge if this was someone you wanted to date to begin with. I don't know.
I know in my case, it's really... The profiles themselves are really hit or miss, but in my experience, it's not a place where you meet someone that you want to settle down with.
Okay. All right. Well, so on July 31st, 2016, Molly matched with 24-year-old Joshua Stimpson. He had recently moved to the area, and they started texting regularly, but Molly wasn't quite ready to meet him in person yet. And so they, chatted for a while, and they learned about each other, and they both had a love for fitness. They both suffered from anxiety. Joshua confided in Molly that he had also been treated for depression since he was 12 when his parents divorced. His mother had moved away, and he was raised by his father. He also told Molly that he had been diagnosed with bipolar disorder. And her parents, upon learning this, were concerned. And not because they were, like, anti-mental illness or mental health issues or whatever, but because they thought that it would be difficult for Molly due to her own mental health issues. But she convinced them that she was strong enough for this. She had gone through hers. She was feeling better. And that she was ready to, and even willing to help Joshua through his struggles.
Okay.
So in November 2016, they've been chatting for about 3 months now. They decide to meet in person, and they went on their first date. And they hit it off, and they started spending more time together, and Molly confided in her friends that she felt like she was really falling for Joshua. He was her first serious relationship, and he told Molly that she was also his first serious relationship. Her parents in one of the shows even talk about how Molly, almost felt sorry for Joshua because she thought he was lonely.
Yeah.
Because she had her family and this big group of really good friends and was far from lonely. where Josh seemed like he didn't really have anyone and was looking for someone who just, like, kind of wanted him. Just wanted him around. And when Molly took him home to meet her parents, her mom said that he seemed comfortable and that her dad said they would drink a beer and talk about sports and that he seemed comfortable there with them.
Right.
And they both noted that he was likable. They didn't seem to see any issues with him or anything. But they also pointed out that he seemed to just want to go to their house. She never went to his house,
right.
or went around his family. I guess at some point her parents and Molly all went to London to cheer him on in like a marathon or some kind of like running thing. And they did meet his family, and his family all agreed that Molly seemed good for him, that it seemed to make him be thinking about his future and, just seemed to have a good, I don't know, like a good influence on him or whatever. Are you looking for something?
I was, but I don't want to dig through my purse.
Okay. But now things start getting not good. Molly decides it's time to introduce Josh to her friends. Only any time that he goes out with her friends, he just kind of sits by himself. He doesn't really interact with anyone.
Yeah.
He tries to get Molly's attention back on himself the whole time. And then afterwards, he'd tell Molly that he was uncomfortable around her friends, that he felt left out. And he even went so far as to try to get in between Molly and one of her best friends, Amelia, by texting her and saying that Amelia wasn't a good friend for her.
Yeah, that's always awkward.
Yeah, well, and it's kind of that classic abuser behavior of like trying to isolate you from your people.
Yeah.
And as much as he seems to dislike her friends, he always seems to be tagging along on her friend dates, even when he isn't invited.
Well, that sounds more like being controlling.
Yeah. And so he'd say things like whenever she would talk about going out or whatever, he'd be like, oh, well, who's going to be there with us tonight? Or what time are we going? Or, things like that.
Yeah.
He also doesn't seem to have any of his own friends. He would also...
Not necessarily a good sign.
No. He would also just show up when she was trying to study. And remember, she's a straight A student. So she's like actually studying and doing her work. So she'd text him and be like, hey, I can't hang out today because I need to study. And he'd just be like, oh, well, that's okay. I'll just come in and hang out while you study. Because I just want to be around you.
To be a distraction and...
Yeah. Just make sure that he's there. Like, that you remember he's there.
Yeah, the focus is on him.
Well, and I even said, like, he'd just show up and kind of just be distracting. And not, like, like, bothering you, kind of, like, trying to get you to talk. But I can just imagine how distracting it would be that, like, you're trying to, like, concentrate on something. And you have somebody who's just, like, sitting there, like, brooding.
Yeah,
like, you feel...
looming over you.
Like, you feel like, maybe I need to be, like, talking to this person. Or maybe I need to be entertaining them or something instead of doing what I'm doing,
definitely would be something that would give me anxiety.
Right. Well, and then, like, he even texted her one time, it's unfair me wasting hours of my weekend sat on your bed in silence. And then she responded with, I didn't make you stay yesterday. And he told her, you're taking my kindness for granted and throwing it back in my face.
Typical manipulative, controlling.
Yeah. But, like, actually, you're coming and bugging me while I'm studying. That's not kindness. So, like, bug off is how I felt about it. I was just like, that's not... You bugging me while I'm trying to do something important is not you being kind.
Yeah.
He even quit his job so that he could spend more time with her.
I couldn't handle that.
No. And so she's, like, starting to feel suffocated. And she texts him, we can't be with each other 24/7. And I really appreciate this about her. Because that she had, like, enough, like, I don't know, that she was self-assured enough to just be like, hey, I gotta have time to study. I gotta have time to go with my friends. Like, we can't always be around each other. That's not healthy.
Yeah, that she's, confident enough that she can that she feels like she can, like, speak her mind.
Right.
And be, like, upfront with him.
Yeah, exactly. And, like, the sad thing is, like, a lot of time, people don't set boundaries in their relationships because they're worried that they're going to lose the person that they're dating. Yeah. And that isn't healthy.
No.
And
being able to have boundaries like that and set boundaries and, you know, try to stick by your boundaries is really,
yeah,
like, I don't know, kind of rare.
Yeah, it is. And I don't know if it's just because she had already, like, battled, like, her own kind of demons that she was just like, I don't have to have this. This isn't a necessary thing in my life. And, like, I don't know if he was trying to gaslight her or something, but he'd start to make her feel like, or try to make her feel like she was the problem. That her issues had to do with her anxiety and her mental health issues.
Yeah.
And she needed to go to her doctor, and she needed him around to help her through her mental struggle, her illness struggles or whatever. Right. Actually, dude, she was doing just fine before you showed up. She got through all of that without you.
Yeah.
She has a good support system. She doesn't need you.
And she seems to, you know herself.
Right, yeah. So she eventually is just completely overwhelmed by his overbearing behavior, and she texts him, quote, "It's probably best if we have a bit of space right now." And he comes back with, "Please don't break up with me. One more chance is all I'm asking for. I'll do anything. I'll literally beg. I know this can work. I haven't stopped crying all day and night." And then he did the thing where he backed off. And he made it seem like he was trying to give her some space. And he got a new job as an operations assistant at a window company. And so Molly finally caves, and she gives him another chance. And in the meantime, his new coworker saying, like, this dude is happy and likable one minute and dark and irrational and, like, withdrawn the next. And so they can tell that there's something going on with this guy. So, despite the promises of things being different and all, like, the love bombing he was undoubtedly doing, Josh pretty much reverted back to his creepy behavior almost immediately. He started showing up unannounced again. He was trying to get her away from her friends by making her feel guilty for not spending more time with him, needing all of her attention. And her family really started to see how problematic it was when Molly took Josh out of town to her aunt's 60th birthday party. So her aunt, her cousin, her parents all talk about this in interviews, about how at this party, Molly was just being Molly. She was having fun. She was dancing with her cousins. She was just being silly. And that Josh was just, like, standing by himself, just, like, staring at her, glaring at her, just being a total bummer, trying to make her feel bad about having fun.
And that puts a lot of pressure on the other person. Because, I don't know, like, in any sort of situation that I've been in like that, which isn't a lot, but I understand the feeling.
Yeah.
And it makes me feel panicky.
Right.
Because you're just like, oh my God, I need to babysit this person.
Right. Like, I can't, like, concentrate on what I'm doing, or I can't even, like, have fun or whatever because I'm, like, conscious of the fact that there's this person over here who's just, like, angry that I'm doing this. Yeah. I mean, because, like, I've even had friendships like that where, like, the other person is just, like, doesn't want you to have other friends or whatever it may be. So, let me see. I lost my place. Oh, so her mom, Jo, said that when they were walking back to their hotel that night that he wouldn't even walk with them. And then she said that she got a call from Molly later that night saying, like, Josh was on one and asked her to come help.
Yeah.
And Jo said that she could hear him yelling before she even got to the room. When she went inside, he immediately went to Jo with his phone out and was like, "This is all Molly. Look at this. Look at these videos on my phone that I've been taking of her in the past. Look how she acts when we argue. Like, look how irrational she is." And Molly's just like, "He's been filming me without me knowing whenever we have fights." And so, yeah, he had been, like, secretly filming her anytime they had an argument.
Yeah, this guy's a piece of work.
Yeah. On the episode of Social Media Murders, they showed a text that Molly sent him later that said, "Just feel like you keep trying to catch me out, recording me hoping you'll catch me saying something I'd regret." And really, I think at this point, Molly's done. Her mom said that she was realizing that she didn't really feel the same way about him as she used to. But they had this holiday already booked to go to Spain.
Yeah.
And she kind of felt like it was her last ditch effort. Like, let's go on this trip. Maybe we just need a reset. But that didn't seem to be the case. No. So texts from Molly while she was in Spain read, quote, God, I'm having a bit of a dilemma on holiday. Had an anxiety attack. Thought this stuff with Josh was going to pass, but it's not really. Help me. And I don't think she meant like, I'm in danger, help me. I think she just meant like, oh my God, like, how do I get out of this? Somebody help me. So they get back from Spain, and on June 17th, Molly and her friends went out to celebrate her 23rd birthday. And I'm assuming because she had been out of town and whatever, they were celebrating it late. Yeah. Because her birthday was May, I think I said.
I can't remember.
So even though, like, reportedly they had been arguing nonstop for weeks, Molly invites Josh along. Or maybe just agrees to let him tag along because he was going to show up anyway.
Yeah, I don't know.
But whatever the case may be, he was there. But they got in an argument, and Molly had enough. And she told him she was done, she was breaking up with him, and that she wanted him to leave. This man turns to her friends and yells into the crowd, she's finished with me. And I'm just like, I wouldn't have blamed them if they had applauded.
Right? Like, what a drama queen.
Because they can all see that he's bad news. Like, you know, because they're on the outside, so, you know. I mean, and at this point, Molly also knows he's bad news, but they're like, thank goodness this guy's gone. But, of course, in the following days, he starts texting her, doing the love bombing thing again. Mm-hmm. And some of their texts read, so Josh wrote, do you feel like you want to talk to me? And Molly replies with, think some space is what is needed. And he tells her, disagree, but okay. And then he tells her, we can't just not speak anymore. This is awful. Thought we was always going to be there for each other. And she told him, yeah, but this is different. So then he goes on Facebook, of all places, and posts, just so that everybody is aware and people don't keep mentioning her not knowing and getting me down, me and Molly are no longer together. I'm just like,
again,
insert eye roll emoji here. Like one of those big ones.
Yes.
Like, calm down, sir. Get a life. So, like you see over and over again in these abusive relationships, when the manipulation from the love bombing and the promises of change stop working, rage and aggression takes over.
Yes, absolutely.
And unfortunately, that's what we start seeing with Molly and Josh. And Josh was not going to let Molly get away from this relationship unscathed. So he takes to the internet to start trying to tear apart her character. And she's built this persona of like a fit, healthy, positive person. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if she was necessarily trying to build a brand, but I think in this world everybody is. But she wanted to be a personal trainer, and she's promoting this lifestyle. And she had already blocked him on everything because he was harassing her, and she blocked him on text and social media. And then I guess he downloaded WhatsApp and started messaging her through there. But here's another place where I show my ignorance because I don't really know what that is. Like, I know that's like a texting app, and I know like I've heard that people use it to like text in other countries. But other than that, like I don't really understand. Is that all it is?
From my experience with it, because I used to use it to talk to my friends in England, that's really all it is.
So maybe it was like because she was in England, maybe because like over there, like you tend to know people in other countries, I think, because it's just all very close together. Maybe that's what everybody has it. I don't know.
I don't know what people really use it for other than texting people elsewhere, because that's all I ever did with it. So yeah, I don't know what else it's for.
Well, apparently she had it and he knew this, and so he got on there and started bugging her. But then he starts posting things online, just really trying to destroy her reputation.
Well, that's what they do when they can't get their way. They
throw a little hissy fit. But she doesn't know that he's posting these things because she's blocked him on everything. Then he starts tagging her family and friends who haven't blocked him yet. So one of his posts read, Quote, have you been honest with everyone, your parents, etc., saying you are probably getting anxious and paranoid because you do drugs? Another post read, quote, have you been honest that you are a cokehead and I have been trying to get you to stop sniffing gear? Funny how you hadn't told people these bits of it, even lying to your own mom.
Okay.
Yeah, he posted a picture of her with a couple of friends and the caption says, perfect photo. Another night that I have proof of Molly admitting to having cocaine on. Like, first of all, you saying it doesn't make it true.
No.
And it's not a picture of her doing cocaine or
your
possessing
proof?
Cocaine.
Yeah.
It's just literally a picture of her standing with two friends.
Mm-hmm.
He was also posting screenshots of conversations that they had when they were fighting. And this poor girl was just miserable. And just kind of like, when is this guy going to go away? Her mom, Jo, eventually got in touch with Facebook and was like, this guy's harassing my daughter. You need to make him stop. And at first, they took down his posts, but they didn't ban his profile or anything. And eventually, he started posting again, and Jo complained again, but got one of those annoying messages back saying that he hadn't violated the guidelines. Yeah. And there's a social media expert that was interviewed on one of those shows that said that the problem was that Facebook was looking at an individual post and not like the pattern of behavior.
Yeah.
And that was unfortunate. So on June 22nd, Molly texts her cousin that she and her mom have put a file together of all of Josh's texts and posts to take to the police. They meet with Officer Philpott at the North Kent Police Station. And if you weren't mad before, you can be mad now. So Officer Philpott calls Josh on speakerphone while Jo and Molly are in his office. And he's basically just like, hey, twin, this isn't cool. Maybe take all those posts down.
Yeah.
And Josh is just repeating over and over that he hasn't done anything wrong. But if you think this is bad, more is yet to come. Like, he's saying this to the policeman. He's saying
this to the cop.
And then Officer Philpott tells him something like, we wouldn't want to have to chat about this again, would we? And Josh responds with, wouldn't we?
Like, what an arrogant prick.
Yeah, that he's telling this to a policeman.
Yeah.
Who's calling him to say, you need to stop doing this thing. So the very next day, this man has the audacity to walk into the police station to file a report against Molly because she's defaming his character.
That also sounds like about par.
Yeah. And so the police tell him basically just like, cut off communication with her and take those posts down like we already asked you to do.
Yeah.
So a couple of days later or day later or something, Molly calls the police station to report that Josh is still posting things about her on the internet. But they're basically, again, just like, well, we'll write it down, but we can't do anything about it.
Exactly. That's what I was about to say. They can't, I mean, legally they really can't do anything about it. They can't necessarily stop him from posting rude things on the internet.
Yeah. The worst thing, though, I think, always is that when somebody goes to the police and they're like, this person's harassing me, this person's stalking me, this person, whatever, and the cops are just like, there's nothing we can do until he does something. Yeah. But then by the time he does something, it's too late. Mm-hmm. And so I don't know, it just always enrages me.
Oh, yeah.
So Molly and her mom realize the police literally aren't going to be able to help her or willing to help her or whatever the case may be.
Well, it's just like the thing where they're like, you have to wait 48 hours or whatever to report somebody missing when that's not actually a thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, by the time 48 hours goes by, they could be dead.
Or when they give you like, oh, they're probably just out with their friends and they lost track of time.
Or they're an adult and they don't have to come home if they don't want to.
Yeah. When it's like, yeah, but that's not their normal behavior.
And I always seem to be bringing it back to the Sky Budnick case, but that's what they basically told them about Sky. And her family was just like, no, this is not normal.
Yeah. And I don't know. It's very frustrating because it's like, why? What would it hurt you to look now?
Mm-hmm.
Like, wouldn't it be better to overreact and they are just literally out with their friends and lost track of time, than underreact and then they're gone forever. Like, it just...
Or...
It doesn't make any sense. Make it make sense.
In this case, overreact and he's just, some creep with a big mouth.
Right. Exactly.
But underreact and...
Yeah. She's gone forever.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, Molly and her mom print out pictures of Josh. And they walk around their neighborhood giving the pictures to their neighbors. And just being like, this guy is scaring us. Please keep an eye out and let us know if you see him around. And they shouldn't have to do that.
No. I mean, on one hand, it's good that they're being proactive about the whole thing.
Yeah.
I mean, even if it's not really making a difference because, like we said, the cops aren't doing anything.
Right.
But, at least they're being proactive.
Yeah. And, the other thing I have a hard time with like, stalking laws, not basically being non-existent, is that, like, this is, like, 2017, I think. This isn't the first stalking case ever. And it seems like all of these cases start out like this. So I don't understand why nobody's learning. Like, why are we still in 2025 and people are still being told we can't do anything about it until he kills you?
Well, yeah, like, I think that regular cops should be taught more about behavioral analysis.
Yep. Yeah, and it's like, they've got to hear this often. There was some statistic about, like, just in the UK specifically, that 2 women a week are murdered by their partner or an ex-partner. And that in 94% of those cases, stalking behavior was reported beforehand.
Yeah, that's sad.
It's too many.
Yeah.
Especially that when nobody's learning anything.
Right. It's just, I don't know. Like you said, nobody's learning anything. It's just repeating the same thing whenever.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. So, the timeline on this part is kind of fuzzy because I've seen that this happened on June 25th after Josh left work early, but on KentLive.news website. Sorry, that felt weird coming out of my mouth. KentLive.news website on a timeline of the case has this happening on June 20th, but either way, Josh was seen on security camera at Asda purchasing a paring knife and then later at home base buying a pickaxe. On June 27th, the police call Molly and tell her that Josh contacted them and said that he would take down all of the posts about her because he was worried his clients at his new job would think badly of him. And Molly texts her friends with, "The police have made him remove everything relating to me. Finally, closure." And she sends a happy face.
Yeah.
On June 28th, Molly and her friends were going out to celebrate her signing up for her first personal training course, and another friend had been promoted, and I'm sure she also was just excited that she felt like all this Josh stuff seemed over.
I'm sure she wanted to just, celebrate that, but also just be herself.
Exactly. So she posted a picture on Instagram with the caption, "Ship and trade this eve." And they were going to go to this bar and restaurant at Dockside in Chatham. And Molly goes to the bar to order food or a drink or something, and guess who was there?
I can't imagine.
Certainly it was not Josh, who is blocked on everything and can possibly know where she is.
Right.
But alas, it was Josh.
Darn it.
And he seemed to be on a date. But I guess he gave her a weird smile that I've heard several people describe as not a friendly or like a wistful smile, but as a gotcha smile. Which is just like the creepiest thing.
Yeah.
And of course, she's shaken up. And her friends are like, "Oh, we're so sorry you had to see him on a date." And she was like, "Yeah, I don't even care."
That's the least of my worries.
She was like, "I hope he treats this one better."
Right.
Like,
poor girl.
Yeah. And she was like, she didn't feel jealous. And she told a friend that was how she was certain that she didn't care about him anymore because she wasn't jealous. She was like, thank goodness he's somebody else's problem now. And Josh and his date leave, but only instead of leaving in any of the other several exits that were available to him, he decided to walk right past Molly's table. And she was, just over it. And she told her friends that she wanted to go watch Love Island, maybe with Hazel.
Yes.
And she went home. On June 29th, Molly gets up early and talks to her mom in the kitchen, and she's planning on going to the gym. At 9:57 a.m., her car is seen on a traffic camera, and at 10:10, Josh's car passes the same traffic camera. So it's pretty apparent in the aftermath that Josh was following her.
Like, what a coinky-dink.
Right. She had not posted she was going to the gym. No one was really sure where he was following her from. Maybe he was parked down her block or something, but he was definitely following her. At 10:06, Molly's car pulls into the parking lot, or car park if you're fancy,
Yes,
of Pure Gym, located in the Dockside Outlet Center at Chatham Dockside. From pictures, this is a pretty big parking lot, and it looks like, it's an outlet place, so there's a lot of other businesses in the immediate area. At 10:14, Josh's car pulls into the parking lot. Molly goes in. It's pretty empty this morning, and she goes upstairs to an empty room, and on security camera footage, you can see that she's on her mat doing like some plank jacks or something, whatever they're called. Another camera angle.
Don't ask me.
She's like doing a plank and like hopping her feet out and in.
But I just mean, like, I obviously know nothing about exercise.
It's time for bed.
It's time for bed.
Okay.
My watch
just in time for the
time
scary
for
part, actually. So,
yes.
So another camera angle shows Josh come up the stairs. He kind of looks in the room that she's in, and then he turns and walks back down the stairs. And he's just like drinking out of his water bottle. Just like some dude going to the gym.
Yeah.
He gets about halfway down. He kind of pauses, and it's almost like something clicks. Mm-hmm. And he turns around and he goes back up the stairs and into the room that Molly's in. And again, she's alone in this room.
Right.
So he grabs a mat, he puts it down next to her, and starts exercising. And he's not like right next to her, so she doesn't notice him at first.
It's still so gross.
Yeah. So then she does, and she texts her friend, WTF, he's just turned up at the gym and come right next to me. He even sends a picture because she'd been filming for one of her classes. Mm-hmm. She also texts her mom, he's turned up at the gym and come next to me. And both her mom and her friend are like, just get out of there. Just go home. Mm-hmm. On the security camera footage, you see her approach him. He doesn't stop exercising while she's talking to him. But she texts her friend with, I asked him why he wasn't at work, and he said it was none of my business. And again, they're like, don't talk to him.
Well, that's what I was
just
about to
leave.
say. She shouldn't have talked to him. She should have just walked away.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm obviously not blaming her for anything.
No.
I'm just saying, like...
But, like, one of her...
She should have just left. She shouldn't have confronted him.
And I didn't write it down, but I know, like, one of the texts that I saw on one of those shows, she was like... Or, like, her friend was like, how did he know you're there? Did you post it on Snapchat or whatever? And she was like, no, I didn't post anything. But it's weird that he showed up there and he showed up here. And so I think it doesn't show it on any of the text messages that, like, are on those shows or anything. But the people who are interviewed, like, her friends and her mom or whatever, say that she asked him, like, are you following me? And I think that that's really why she went up to him, because she's like, why are you here right now? Like, stop it. And so shortly after Molly approaches him, Josh is seen leaving the gym. He does a little jaunty skip down the stairs, and he's seen on the camera actually leaving the gym. Right around 11 o'clock, Molly tells her mom and her friend that she's left, and also says, I feel like I'm looking over my shoulder all the time. And unfortunately, Molly wasn't aware that Josh didn't actually leave. So after he walked out of the gym, he got in his car and he started driving around the parking lot waiting for her to exit. He parked near her, and before she can get her door locked, he yanked her door open and started stabbing her with the kitchen knife from Asda. And she starts screaming and she's honking her horn, and he just keeps stabbing.
Yeah, that's terrible.
Yep. So this man named Ben Morton, He had just dropped his wife off at the movies and was about to walk his dog. And he sees or he hears the commotion, and he thought he saw a woman or like a man hitting a woman being attacked, so he goes over. And this is his account. It's a long quote, but it's a firsthand of the account of the attack. It's also really horrible and brutal, so just a warning. He says, "There seemed to be a fight going on. A man appeared to be hitting a woman. I stepped forward from the walkway, and at that point I could see it was not just a fight, but a woman was seemingly getting attacked by the man. He seemed to have something in his hand. She was up at that point, resisting. He was using both his hands. She had her hands up to try to stop him. I moved closer. I gave my dog to someone. Then I moved even closer to the car where I could see the man was attacking her with a knife or some kind of implement. It was quite small. There was already blood inside the car. When I got right in front of the car, I could see he was stabbing her. She was still trying to defend herself at that point. He was stabbing her towards her head and neck. It was something I've never seen and hopefully will never again. To be honest, I didn't know what to do. I shouted at people to say he was killing her and call the police. I banged on the window of the car. Sorry, I'm going to cry. I got through it fine earlier when I was reading it. I thought it might distract him. I was banging on the bonnet of the car. I was hoping the police might arrive. Someone might arrive with some idea what to do. It's not something you expect to find in a car park. I shouted and I said, he's killing her. I kept shouting, stop killing her, and he wouldn't stop. The attack just carried on. She was still trying to protect herself to start with, but it was obvious she was getting weaker. No one else was coming, so I thought I should try and do something. I moved to the driver's side where he was leaning across and attacking her. I could see his leg was sticking out of the door. I tried to slam the door on his leg to distract him. He moved his leg inside the car and just carried on. I moved around and grabbed his leg with my hands to see if I could pull him from the car. His leg was so covered in blood at this stage that my hand kept slipping off. At this point, I stepped back. I didn't know what else to do. I could see inside the car. I could see her throat had been slit. He seemed determined to make sure she was dead. He just kept stabbing her. So then when Ben steps back because he realizes he can't do anything, he goes to his car to block Josh in to try to keep him from escaping. Even after Josh left the car, though, he didn't try to escape.
Yeah.
He stood there waiting for the police to arrive. And when they did, he walked over to them. He's in his, white tank top from the gym, just covered in blood.
Yeah.
And he said, "It's me you're looking for. She's in the car. I've killed her." Just as calm as anything after that, frenzied attack that he just...
Right.
So 23-year-old Molly McLaren was pronounced dead at the scene. Her autopsy revealed 75 separate wounds. And
bananas.
Yeah. She had wounds to her head, her neck, her chest, and arms, including a gaping wound to her throat. So Josh was, of course, arrested and taken to a psychiatric hospital for evaluation. And obviously he had already admitted guilt, but he pled guilty to manslaughter, not murder, on the grounds of diminished responsibility. He claimed to have a personality disorder that caused him to kill Molly. So 2 psychiatrists evaluated him. Dr. Saeed Majid, who testified for the defense, claimed that Josh was suffering a severe case of borderline personality disorder. He believed that when Josh killed Molly, he was suffering from an abnormality of functioning that stemmed from his mental illness and his previous abandonment issues from his mom and dad's divorce. Dr. Majid went on to claim that Josh had a hypersensitivity to rejection. Poor baby.
Right. I feel like I also have a hypersensitivity to rejection,
Right.
but I've never
felt the need to
stab somebody 75 times.
Yeah. Dr. Philip Joseph was the psychiatrist for the prosecution. His findings were that Josh didn't suffer from any kind of personality disorder. He did show narcissistic traits, but mostly he was just immature and vain and had zero remorse for his crime.
He was just a jerk.
So during the trial, a lot of hinky stuff about Josh's past came out. The first thing was that Josh never had bipolar disorder, and he had lied to Molly to manipulate her into trusting him. And it's also bad because, then he tried to use it as, oh, well, this is why I killed her. Mm-hmm. Bipolar disorder does not cause you to kill people.
No.
In fact, it's more likely that you would harm yourself than you would harm somebody else. The second thing was Josh's dating history. So 2 women who had dated Josh before Molly came forward to testify, or they came forward to testify against him during his trial, which I was really glad that they allowed this, because you see in so many cases where they don't allow you to present things
from the past.
From the past, yeah. So the first was a woman named Alexandra, whom Josh had met on Tinder in the summer of 2013. Alexandra testified that she and Josh had gone on one single date, during which he told her not to talk to any other guys because he didn't like it. After their date, she received 25 missed calls from him. He would sometimes send her pictures of herself when he was not with her, asking her why she was wearing certain outfits.
Yeah, that's not creepy at all.
She went on holiday, and he texted her that he was going to fly out and drown her.
Yeah, that's normal.
He told her ex-boyfriend that she had slept with his brother. And finally, even though she had never told this man where she lived, she received a picture of her back garden with a message that said she'd have a surprise waiting for her when she got home.
Oh boy.
And when she got home, she found that all 4 of her tires had been slashed. She did report these things to the police, and apparently the police shot Josh a quick text, like, "Hey bestie, stop doing this, please." So the second woman was named Leah, and she met Josh at a bar in May 2016. During the week that they met, they hung out a few times. And keep in mind, this is just 1 week.
Yeah.
So they met, hung out a couple of times. She said, "Friday, I'm going to go to a Hindu." Do you know what that is? Mm-hmm. You did?
Yeah.
I know a lot of British slang, but I didn't know that one.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you're ignorant like me, it was a bachelorette party.
Mm-hmm.
Josh asked her if she'd be talking to other guys. And then on Sunday, she was like, "We met last week. What are you talking about? Like, right. We met 5 days ago." And calm down, sir. Then on Sunday, she was going to her nan's birthday, and he started calling and texting her incessantly. So she ended things with him. Mm-hmm. A week later, he showed up at her apartment at 2 o'clock in the morning, claiming that his friends had abandoned him and he needed to charge his phone. And she is a kinder person than I am, right, because I would have told him to bugger off.
Yeah.
But she let him in and sat with him and asked him to leave when his phone was charged, but apparently let him stay after he started crying. After he finally left, she told him that if he showed up at her house again, she was going to call the police. She said afterwards, he always seemed to be where she was, like just watching her like a freaking creep. Yeah. And I don't know how long after this it was, but one night she was out at like a bar, club, something, and he decided to be a pig and spit his drink on her.
Oh, lovely.
He was thrown out of the bar.
More than anything, it's just freaking childish.
Right? Like, you were like a 24-year-old man at this point. Like, no, sir.
Like, grow up, please.
The bouncers threw him out of the bar, but when she left, like 5 hours later, he was sitting outside. And she was like, "I knew he was waiting for me."
Yeah, that's gross.
We also found out how Josh had found Molly when she went to ship and trades with her friends. Apparently, he had been keeping up with some unnamed woman he had met on Tinder. And there's a text exchange on the social media murder show where he texts her and says that Molly dumped him the night before and that he can't even search for her. And she tells him, quote, "Yeah, you're blocked. Don't worry, we can stalk through mine if we need to." He would send her other messages asking to check on Molly's accounts for where she was or who she was with. One time he asked her, "How do I do that Snapchat thing?" And she responds, quote, "To watch her snap without her knowing, load it, then put your phone on airplane mode before you watch it. Top stalker. Just don't get obsessed with it." Now, like, I don't think that this girl knew the extent of Josh's obsession.
No, but still.
It's like, I think she just wanted a piece of the drama and maybe was, like, enjoying his attention. Yeah. But I also wonder if she feels any guilt about this now.
Yeah.
Like,
I would hope so.
Yeah. So, PSA, if somebody asks you to stalk somebody else's account, just say no. Oh, well, luckily for all of Josh's future Tinder dates, after only 4 hours of deliberation, the jury found Josh guilty, not of manslaughter, but of murder. and Josh was sentenced to life in prison with a minimum term of 26 years. And during sentencing, Judge Adele Williams made the following statement. This was a cruel, calculated, and cowardly act. This was an act of wickedness. You took away Molly's life quite deliberately in the most vicious fashion. You were determined to punish her for ending the relationship with you. You were seeking revenge. She was 23 years old, beautiful and intelligent. Her family's grief and anguish is raw and apparent for everyone to see. You are a highly dangerous young man, and you will pose a very considerable risk to women for a very considerable period of time.
Yeah.
Or a very considerable period in the future. So,
I mean, luckily for them, he didn't do anything serious to the previous girls.
yeah.
But he obviously has a pattern.
Yeah. Well, and now that he's done this, like, who knows what he would do in the future.
So he definitely should not be on the streets.
No. Kent police
Even if he didn't kill her,
right.
he should not be free to just do terrible things to women.
No. The Kent police did something remarkable in the aftermath of Molly's death. They actually requested a review of their own practices from an independent agency to address the missteps that occurred when handling Molly's case.
Yeah.
For instance, the Staffordshire police had if the Staffordshire police had logged in Alexandra's reports as a crime when Molly went to the police, there would have been a record of Josh's past stalking behavior. In 2017, the police introduced a GPS device that can be given to women in domestic and stalking situations that acts as like a sort of silent alarm.
Mm-hmm.
And I would argue that that's better than a restraining order.
Yeah.
But I would also argue that more needs to be done to address reports of stalking. Because, again, like, we can't do anything until he breaks the law. It doesn't cut it when him breaking the law is him murdering her in the parking lot of her gym.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, North Kent and Staffordshire...
sorry,
go ahead.
Oh, it's okay. I'm just saying that it escalated quickly. I mean, he was already being a creep, but from posting crap online and, I mean, the stalking is pretty serious.
Yeah.
But from posting crap online to stabbing somebody 75 times, like, that's kind of a leap.
Well, and there was maybe a report from the review agency or something that, like, made a point to say, like, this case really highlighted the fact that violence, like hitting or whatever, isn't the only precursor to domestic, like, murder.
Yeah.
Or domestic homicide or whatever you want to call it. That obviously, like, this behavior of, like, online harassment and, all of these things, that also is, part of the behavior, like, pattern that can lead up to this.
Yeah.
The North Kent and Staffordshire stations have implemented that reports of stalking must be logged into the system as a crime, regardless of whether the reporter wants to press charges or not. At least that way there's, like, some kind of a, like, warning. Like in this case, like, if that one girl's things had been logged in, then when they went to the police would have been like, okay, Molly, this guy's a creep. We can see it in here that he's a creep. Friends and family of Molly created the Molly McLaren Foundation to provide services and resources to anyone suffering eating disorders. I think that charity is now defunct, but it was nice that they started it in the first place. They also hold a music festival every year on her birthday called Molly Fest. I don't know if that still goes on. I didn't see anything about that one not going on, but Kent University also awarded Molly's degree posthumously and presented it to her parents. But anyway, that's it. Yep.
I remember that case from us listening to it before, but
yeah, I couldn't remember if you had listened to it with me,
but it's still terrible to hear.
Yeah. But cheers for Ben, man.
Yeah.
He was the only one who seemed to be trying to help her. And even though, like, it turned out in the worst possible way, like, he was a hero.
Yeah, at least he tried.
Yep. His poor dog was probably scared.
But yeah, like, to put his own life in danger to try and help this girl that he sees as literally being murdered in front of his eyes.
Yeah. And to think, like, it's 11 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, in broad daylight, out on the street,
parking lot of a busy shopping center. Just, yeah. That's terrible. Well, that's that.
That is that.
Now I get to go listen to it again.
Yeah.
At least I didn't have to live it.
Yeah.
So I could have it worse.
And it's always good to, talk about this stuff, make people aware of, the things that happen to people like Molly, but also just like what could happen. And
yeah. And maybe like you are in a situation, but you don't, like I know like sometimes you play it down like, well, he's just posting stupid stuff on the internet. Like, he'll go away.
Or some people make excuses for the behavior of their partners.
Right. He has bipolar disorder or,
Like, it's not his fault. He's mentally ill.
Mm-hmm. His mom left him when he was little.
Yeah.
But it's no excuse.
No.
Nobody has the right to act like that.
No. If somebody's being a creep to you, get away from them however you can.
Yep.
But it's not like she didn't try.
Right. Yeah, I mean, she did try, yeah.
Because, she tried to get rid of him. She tried to involve the police before things escalated.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I didn't write it down in my notes, but there was another story that her friend had said that right before she had died, that she had applied for a job at another gym, and that as soon as he found out, probably through this girl who was helping him look at her stuff, he immediately went and got a membership at that gym and started going like multiple times a day, like trying to catch her there.
Trying to bump into her casually.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's really unfortunate that girl got herself like in the situation where she was helping him look at her accounts. Like, that's just, it's in no way her fault.
No.
Because this is completely his fault and his responsibility. But
obviously unhinged.
I just hope that she learned a lesson.
Yeah.
And I hope that anybody else hearing that learns a lesson not to do that. Because you never know. And as far as I know, like, he didn't know this person. It was somebody that he just talked to on the internet. Like, you don't know who you're talking to on the internet.
No.
These days, I would argue you don't even know who you're talking to in person.
I know.
Everybody wears a mask.
Which is why I don't go on Tinder dates anymore.
No. That's right. Alright, well, you got anything else?
I thought of something while you were talking earlier, but I don't remember what it was, and it wasn't important.
Okay. Well, remember that you can find us on social media at Twisted and Mysterious, or you can email us at twistedandmysteriousPodcast@gmail.com. And
the kids were talking about our podcast today.
Oh, yes. I had a kid walk in to night school tonight, and he was all, I listened to your podcast. And I was in like the back closet, like the office space. And I walked back out and I said, did you just say you listened to my podcast? And he said, yes. And I said, why do you know about my podcast? And he said he heard it from you.
Well, I'm not the one that brought it up.
Oh.
What's her face? Brought it up.
Yeah.
Because they were asking me what I watch on TV, and I was like, I don't really watch TV. And they were like, what do you do? And I said, well, I watch YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
I said, they were like, well, what do you watch on YouTube? And I was like, I usually watch, like, artist vlogs and true crime stuff.
Yeah.
And she was like, don't you guys have a true crime podcast? And I was like, yeah. So the boys were asking about it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I had 3 boys asking about it.
Yeah.
And one of them said he was going to follow us on Spotify.
Mm-hmm.
And one of them was like saying that, you know, he was going to listen to it if he got around to it.
Mm-hmm.
And
well, the one that I saw, he said, I listened to it and it was good. And I said, did you listen to the first one? And he said, no, I listened to the Slender Man one. And he was saying, because he said that after he heard you, like, say that he was like, I like to listen to crime stuff.
mm-hmm.
And so I guess he must have just had his AirPod in or something. And so he listened to it.
Yeah.
And he, I don't remember where I was going to go with that. But anyway, he said that he listened to it and that he liked it. And, he was saying that at this time of year, I guess he has, like, a chair in front of his window and he'll, like, sit there and, like, look at the Christmas lights and listen to crime podcasts.
Yeah. Well, it was just like we were watching Making a Murderer or whatever it's called,
Mm-hmm.
and that H.H. Holmes, like,
Yeah.
docuseries
Yep.
at Christmas that one year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
'Cause
Well, I mean, we were stranded from the blizzard.
we were
so-
snowed in, but still, like,
No.
it was Christmas and New Year's, and we were watching murder.
And toddlers and tiaras.
Yes.
And Judge Judy or something.
Yeah, one of those.
It wasn't Judge Judy, but
No, it was like
it was divorce court. It was divorce court. Oh,
Yeah.
man. Good stuff.
The things you do when you're snowed in from a blizzard.
Or when you're 90s kids.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no. I'm not the one that brought it up. I just elaborated.
Yeah. But no, I had asked him if he listened to the first one because it was about where we lived. And he was like, oh, no. He was like, I didn't even know that had happened.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. Maybe we got a new listener.
Yes.
A teenage boy.
Yes.
That's all right. I'll take them all.
Yes. Anybody who wants to listen.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, you can find us on social media. You can email us. And tell all your friends.
Tell your friends. Tell your mom.
Tell your students.
Tell
all the
your
teenage
mailman.
boys that you know.
Your mailman's probably needs something to listen to while he's delivering the mail.
Yes, I know. I want to make stickers that we can hand out
Mm-hmm.
to people to...
I know. I was thinking that you need some on your table when you sell at your craft fairs.
Mm-hmm.
Well, anyway,
so you know where you can find us, and as always, remember that people are gross, and please don't get murdered.
nope.
Okay,
Bye.
bye.